rest of my erasers went. I'd say that's a problem, but okay, let's see. What colors am I going to do this? That is the big decision here. Yeah, the fun part is going to make this backlit, because that right here is going to end up being my light source. So I think I'm going with a yellow back there. I don't want it to go lighter than that. But how are you guys doing on this Saturday? I did not have any major plans today. I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down and I am going to knock out some art because I need it. What's going to be interesting about this one is that it's going to be the first piece that I ever try and do, make it backlit. So I think it's going to be really, really striking if I can get it right. And I might have to go heavier on some of the inks back here, but we will see. All right. And we're going to go. Some of this I'm going to also need to fix. Like that black line I got there. That was an inking mistake. But I will fix that a little bit later when I can pull out my acrylic markers. And I probably should have used this canary yellow on the outer as well. But, you know, kind of is what it is. When you're doing physical artwork or traditional artwork, you kind of have to lean into your mistakes. Some stuff can be fixed. Not everything, but some stuff. But if y'all have any questions or anything that y'all want answered, or y'all curious about anything, let me know. I'll be happy to talk about it. Doesn't necessarily have to be art related, but you know, I'm here chilling. Ain't got really much else going on today. One thing I can tell is that I bought this yellow marker yesterday specifically for this piece, and I know that it is going to kill this marker. Gonna have to sacrifice this marker to the marker gods. And probably have to refill this thing by the end of this. So as for how long this piece is going to take, I have no idea. Coloring just depends. Hey T-Crow, how are you doing? I know, I am streaming early for once. I was not able to do any art since last time I ended up streaming. And I was so dead tired from cleaning out my mom's garage yesterday. I had to go home to help her out with that. I was like, I'll make it up on Saturday. I'll stay in my apartment, clean this, start coloring this thing. And start trying to figure out my color scheme. Well, I know I'm going like with the burgundy dress. I'm going to try and do a burgundy. But I think this thing's going to have accent colors, and I haven't figured out the accent colors yet. Which, honestly, I need to figure out that stuff before I start tackling it, because a lot of the time I just kind of go. Well, when it comes to colors, I'm like, I don't know. Your boy never really knows. But let me know if y'all are working on any sort of projects or not, because I'm always interested to see what other people are working on. I mean, that's if you're an artist. Even if you're not an artist, I'm sure like you got some other house project or something that you're working on. Everyone's working on something, even if it's just like, yep, I'm going to the gym, which I need to do that too. I need to go hit up my run when it's cooler. It's too hot to do that right now. Oh, painting a little fish. Ooh, I'm interested in that. What size are you doing it? Because I know for some people they've been working on like, I see a lot of ACO content. So I know a lot of people are really into ACOs right now. I've done a couple of them and I've been enjoying it. I was working on a summer art challenge, and I got done with like the first week, and then immediately just got really busy. Last week was so busy I didn't really get to work on it. I need to go back to that, but it's like, all right, we're already on the 20th, and I got like 7 done. So definitely a failed challenge on my part, but you know, it's hard to juggle multiple projects like that all at the same time. Sometimes I'm able to do it. Not all the time, though. Or technically, the fish was already been painting, blocking a hook on its mouth, and then doing a little scaring. Okay, all right. Let's see how that ends up turning out. Size is digital. Yeah, that's decent size for digital, though. Got a lot of respect for digital. Like, digital's free in a sense because you can pretty much tackle anything you want, but when you're working with it, that's exactly, there's so much freedom with it that it's like sometimes having too many choices is difficult, at least for me. I think the older I've gotten, the more when it comes down to having restrictions on things, I find it a little bit easier. I'm like, okay, I can't do that because of this reason, and I'm locked in with only these colors and these materials, so that's what I'm going to end up making. Digital, you don't got that. Your limitations is just like I don't know, brushes. And even then, like, you can create your own brushes, and you have infinite amount of colors. And I'm like, oh man, that's so much. I've been thinking about starting to work back in digital, at least for penciling, printing out my pencils and then inking traditionally. Because there's just something about inking traditionally. It's fine. It's just fun. But like drawing digitally with pencil, like penciling digitally, is just being able to fix your mistakes and sizing and everything, because sometimes you just don't see it. Do I really need to go back? Yeah, I probably need the second coat back there. Want this to be flat. So I don't know if y'all use alcohol markers a whole lot, but sometimes when you're using that first base layer color, you need to go over it twice just to make sure that it's kind of flat and not streaky. And I'm using yellow, which is like notoriously streaky. It's not I'm not a fan. Yellow intimidates me in a lot of ways. I feel like the color itself is just hard to work with. It's not easy. It smudges, especially smudges on black. Darker colors, very, very easy, and it's very unforgiving. I wonder if I can just switch over to a brush tip. Oop. Oh, there goes my cat. Good thing that did not fly over across the room. I've still been buying these Art Infinity markers instead of going Oohoo, and that's just because Jerry's Artorama is right here in Raleigh. So I'm like, in the markers, if you buy multiple of them, it's not too expensive. It's like $2 a marker if you buy like 6. And I'm like, you know what? It's hard to beat, especially if I only need a couple colors. And they do have refillable, and that alone is probably worth it. I think Copic is still probably the best. It's just, man, no one wants to spend that much money on one marker, because it's like, what, I think $8.99 for one marker. That's too much. That's way too much. I don't really make money on my art, so well, then again, I also haven't like sold it either. I haven't tried selling it either, but I need to jump on trying to make stickers or prints or something eventually. It's just, I want to get a couple pieces so people got options. but also requires me to actually do research on how do I run an art store, because I have no clue. Nor do I know anyone that has. But that's also the fun part, is figuring all of that out. But the cool thing is that my portfolio is looking pretty solid with all the pieces that are in it. And I'm thinking about doing a little bit of graphic design work on some of this. Like make some book covers. And maybe I'll turn it into like a poster or something. That might be kind of cool. I grab a sip. Cool thing about being an artist, though, you don't have the problem of like, man, what am I going to do today? I end up going, probably should work on some art today, because I don't have any pressing plans. And it would be great to have a new piece to go like, hey, look, this is done. And also go, I need to make content too, because man, I've been kind of lacking on making videos the last 2 weeks. It's been kind of rough. Oh yeah, that second coat, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can kind of tell on camera that there's a second coat. And then I still got some of that red pencil left. I need to start erasing that before I ink, or making it lighter, because the ink kind of grabs onto my kneaded eraser afterwards, and it's just it ain't easy trying to lift up afterwards. It's part of it'll get covered eventually, probably by some acrylic. I'm probably going to purposely throw it on some acrylic and blend it. But the exciting thing about working on a piece like this is just like, all right, how is this going to look at the end? Because like, I have an idea. There's a bit of a vision, but I don't know for sure how it's going to look. And that's kind of the magic of it. I think this is already dying. Man, these Art Infinity markers, I mean, they're inexpensive, but man, they dry so quick. I feel like I gotta buy a pack of them every time I work on a piece, and that's not what I really want to do. See, as a content creator, I don't want to be like extremely popular and have a large follower base, but what would be great if one of these marker companies would just send me free markers. That's what I want. That's why I want to be a content creator. It's just like, so I don't have to buy art supplies. Just send me art supplies. I'll review it. That's what I want. I bought some shoes from the drug dealer, and I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day. That's so good. That is solid. That is a good joke. I actually did go to like an amateur night comedy thing earlier this week. I think Wednesday. Thank you. I liked your video, homie. I appreciate it. 90 Day Grime. I really do. It helps out. Every little bit helps. I'm not going to go for a peach thing. It's going to be burgundy, but I need to throw down these really light colors. Because with these markers I want, you need to go light to dark. Well, you can go dark to light, but it's a little easier when I have more control with it going light to dark. Because like once you go dark, it's hard to go to get it lighter. We're gonna just try and progress kind of slowly, even though I know that this is gonna be pretty difficult. All right. Yeah, it's getting there. Because my gut feeling is that I'm going to. That's burgundy. I know I drew some of the lace, though that's probably going to. It's probably going to end up being a white if I had to guess. Normally, I would just kind of like go from part to part to part, but I think we're going to do all flats first. Because I want to control how dark it is. Because with this thing being backlit, I'm going to have to go like, I'm going to have to do this as safe as possible. Not one of those I could just go for it. Though, if that is my personality, is just kind of like, all right, I'm just going to go for it. This situation's probably not the, it's probably not the way to go. Also, the good thing about me working on this so early is if I need to go out and go get more art supplies, I can. Though I do think I have everything I need for this one. Yeah, because that's probably going to be a separate color. Separate color skin. We're going to be making all of the decisions. Like I said, this will be pretty strong. I think this might be one of my stronger pieces once it's done. Though my last one was pretty good. I think my last one might have been my best. I just know that some of these blacks are going to end up being a little darker. Let's see, thinking. That could be a separate color. This could be a three color thing. I might make this 3 colors. Make that burgundy. It's probably going to end up being a white. It's what's going to work. It's going to end up being the question. All right, I'm going to sit on that. We're going to work on skin. Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate it. It looks so beautiful. I appreciate that. I am pretty proud of it so far. We will see how this ends up looking once it's all done. It's like, I don't even know what color I'm going to even do the hair. It's definitely going to end up being a dark color. I know that for sure, just on how I ended up shading it with the my ink pen. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to do the base layer for the skin, and then we're going to start making it darker on the way out on the inside. On the outside, it's going to be lighter since we're going for a backlit sort of look. So we're going to have really strong shadows. Ooh, I can already tell that I'm running out of ink with this marker too. Yeah, it's gonna end up being a time. That is one of the worst parts about traditional, is that I had a feeling that these markers that I've been using, because I've had them for a little bit, it's like we're approaching the end of their life cycle for the Uhu markers. I've had them for a little bit. All right, so we want to shade out this yellow. We're gonna blend out this yellow. Problem is that this is my lighter skin color. This is the one that I'll end up blending with for the other colors. And with it being so close to being running out here, it's going to be a challenge. See, I don't want to throw out my Uhus because they're still good. Some of them are still good. And blending out this yellow is gonna. Okay, it's close. All right, needed another shade. All right. All right. All right. Just trying to figure out exactly. Yeah, I think that will be pretty decent right there. Ketapan, did you draw this from scratch, or did you have the outlines already there and you just filling in some color, or just asking? Looks good either way. I drew the whole entire thing. I penciled it. I've inked it. I've actually streamed most of this. I streamed me inking it, penciling it. I don't have a recording of that, but all of this I drew. I took a 3D model and kind of moved it around. I looked at some references of the kind of look I wanted to go for. But yeah, thank you. It has taken me forever to work on this. Yeah, for all of my drawings and whatnot, for the most part, I'll end up using like a 3D model. I'll pose like a standard one, and then I'll like look up like a dress or the clothes online. I'll just use Pinterest to go like, okay, I'll draw this dress or something close to it. T-Crow, it's thunderstorming where I am, and internet decided to disappear, and now it's back. Well, welcome back, and hopefully the storm's not too bad. We had some pretty gnarly weather Thursday. Thursday I was out of power for a good amount of time. All right, that one. All right, let's back to blending. And this is going to end up being a time because I don't know how well this is going to blend with this marker dying. Because this is one of the worst parts about alcohol markers is like, it's dying. Do you have any refillable ink? Nope. And I'm like, oh, great. Because the best way to shade is with the lightest color. Because even when I go different darker shades here, my lightest color is still the best one to kind of like blend it out, even if I'm using other colors, so it doesn't get too dark and I still have a decent amount of control. But this is probably this marker's last project, unfortunately, because it's a pretty damn good marker. Ooh, has done me very well. I just can't find them all the time. I know I can order some, but it's just not convenient. Okay. Because sometimes convenient is what you want. All right, now it's even darker. I want some of this to have a little bit of dimension. Don't worry, it's gonna get even darker. All right, that'll create some amount of dimension. It's going to be fun trying to bring back some of these little lighter colors. And we are still going darker, and then I need to go out and blend it. So the plan is that I will blend this, go as dark as I can in some areas, and then most likely I'm going to end up re-hitting a couple spots with acrylic marker to bring some of these pop lights back in. just to probably do some correction, because since I want this to be backlit, but there's still some details that are still front that I'm probably still going to want, though it totally won't look exactly realistic, I think. It just needs to, you think it's realistic, I guess is the way to go with it. It's one of those, well, we'll see how it looks. Hard to say. Like, yeah, I'm not really like how that's coming out with the arm. That's probably need to go be darker, most likely. Yeah, because this shadow probably needs to be around like right there. Okay. This other one. Needs to come out a little bit more, and then we need to bring out that brown probably way more. Yeah, that's probably more right. I wonder if this needs to be, I think we need to bring out this a little bit more, I think. Yeah, that feels more right. All right. And then we can still bring out some of these not as dark colors on this. Yeah, that reads a little bit better. You're still going to go, it's still not quite there yet on the skin tone, but you know, we're getting there. Wow, okay, we've already been at this for almost an hour. That is the thing, is that when I go to work on some of this stuff, I don't know how, like, I never time myself really, so I never know exactly how long I actually work on projects, because people ask me, I'm like, oh, it only takes me a few hours. Like 3 hours maybe, tops, and it's like, no, it's not. It's more like 10, if not more. Especially these size drawings. I need to tell myself penciling, because penciling I'll get lost on. I just like turn something on, put it on like my board, and then just kind of like go. And then I'm trying to get into the point where I'm, I know inking, I want to stream more when I'm inking and coloring, because I'm pretty confident in those skills. Penciling, I don't know, because I end up not confident in that. They turn out all right, but a lot of times it's just like I'm like erasing back and forth. It's not my favorite part. All right. Now, this color. Bringing that back in more. Okay. Very dark. All right. And even darker. All right. Some of this needs to be fixed. Some of that curving on the face. Might have messed that up. Actually, I say mess up, but it's not necessarily messed up. That's better. We are gone dark. And I think we're kind of getting there. I think I'm going to probably add some purple tint into it. And now we blend it out. Alright. And this marker is going. Thing is, I just bought some burgundy markers and some yellow. I'm like, oh great, I need to replace my skin tones. My darker shades are okay because I don't use them too much, because I end up subbing out the darker shades mostly for purple. So I shade with purple a lot. I go through purple markers because I shade most of my backgrounds in purple, sometimes blue, and then I use blue all the time. Blue is probably one of my favorite colors to use. Alright. Now, I can go, I think, instead of going a different brown, I think we bust out purple. I think it's time. I think this little contrast with the yellow. Does that pick up, though? I don't think so, Dane. That doesn't come up too much. Alright. Now here's the fun point. The fun part is figuring out if this purple is going to show up. It does. This one does. Alright, this is, we're going to create my more deeper shadows with this. I feel like I need to take my ink pen just to give this a little bit more texture now that I'm looking at it. Because even though like I like inking and penciling a decent amount, even when I think I'm done with something, it's never really done until like I'm in this phase, because I'm starting to like sit on it a little bit longer, go like, something's not quite right. Needs a little bit more sauce. Yeah, that purple is doing some very heavy lifting, even if it's just lightly. It's doing a lot. All right, instead of blending that, can I go even darker in some spots and then blend? And I'm just wanting to touch some areas just slightly, like the nose. Just a couple areas. It's like some very strong shadows in some parts, but not a whole lot. Not too strong. All right. Like just like where shadows might hit. Parts just to kind of like make a couple more shapes. Like putting it some of these areas. Not a whole lot. We just want a little bit. Because the thing is, I can always go back and blend that out more or go darker if need be. Which, who knows? Then again, I can go lighter with some acrylic markers. I do get acrylic markers in my art box somewhere. I like acrylic markers a decent amount. I'd love to just do a project just with them, but I find that they just complement my alcohol marker pieces a little bit more. And I feel like that brown just come in here a little bit more. And then we'll blend that. Blend. When in doubt, blend. And I think that's still... Okay. That's better. What time is it? 3? All right. We're getting somewhere. Because I've kind of now have established my lighting on the skin, so this will help me on shading everything else since I kind of have some framework. All right, I can put up some of these markers. Keep them and not throw those out because I probably will go back to using them at some point. All right. All right, where are we? Okay. Back to burgundy. Which, honestly, this is looking really pink. But that's fine. That's fine. That's meant to be my highlightest color, and we're just needing to just establish where my brightest colors might be. But it's backlit, so there won't be a lot just on the edges. Unless she's also being lit from somewhere in the front as well. But I think we'll be okay. And honestly, what I'm going to do, what I think I'm going to end up trying to tackle, is I think I'm going to work on it in pieces, fully render it out the best that I can. Because some of it might need more black in areas. Hard to say. I'm gonna have to see how this ends up. Yeah, it kind of does read burgundy. Oh, it's still a little damp. We'll see how it ends up drying. This will still end up being shadow as well. Okay. It's getting there. Alright, that's definitely burgundy. Now it'll look pretty good as some hot spots. Make that kind of curve into that. All right. All right. Yeah, that's looking pretty strong, I think. I do have another darker burgundy color that I'm going to throw on this as well. And this will help give it a little bit more dimension. Because that's the thing that I try and do is give this as much dimension as possible. I try to throw in as many shades as I can. I know a lot of people only use about 3, maybe 4 colors per thing, and which would be way more simple and way easier to do if I were to go that route. But I never do, especially on the size. I'm not sure why I'm like that. I just am. But that is the thing with art. You're kind of always experimenting. All right. So definitely kind of committed to the burgundy. Is it perfect? Honestly, I thought it was going to be darker. It's okay. Not. It's still good. It'll still work. I don't know how well a purple is going to be to shade it is the thing. Hard to say. All right. I think I will call it for right now and take a break because I've been at it for about an hour and a half. All right, guys. Thanks for checking it out.